let's talk about one of my favorite ways for fasting to enhance anti-aging or anti-cellular aging, and it is through something called autophagy. And autophagy is basically the recycling of old damaged cells into fueling new cells. And so what that means is basically it's a cleanup. It cleans out all the damage, all the old, the cancer cells, the flabby skin, viruses, restores collagen. I mean, it really, when someone does drastic weight loss and they have all this excess skin, fasting is less likely to create that much because the old cells are being recycled. And for that to happen, we need to wait a little bit. It can't just happen the moment we skip one meal for the most part. So autophagy happens when there's not enough amino acids available for tissue repair and regeneration. So this process, so I'm just going to share with you on my screen here. You can see some of this we have talked about before. So blood sugar drops when you're fasting about 4 to 8 hours. And all of these things start to happen at about a 12 hours fast. So human growth hormone increases, the digestive system has time to heal. But at 14 hours, it increases more. And then fat burning, human growth hormone, and then autophagy begins at around 18 hours. And it really increases a lot at the 36-hour mark. And then obviously it peaks at the 72-hour mark. Now, obviously in our course, we cover up through a 24-hour fast. And if there's interest at some point, we will do extended fast. But in general, we can get to autophagy. Now, every person is slightly different. It's not going to always be at exactly the 18-hour mark. But to get some of those benefits, the longer, the more extended fast we do, the more we get there. However, it's really important to progressively build up to that because the fast will be much harder if you're not eating the right meals or you're not doing it progressively. But I just love autophagy for that reason. And if you haven't fasted, all those numbers that I just mentioned can seem scary. Even an 18-hour fast may seem scary. So that's why we really work up to a longer fast, and it's really the healthy, progressive way to do it. And just to cover this on autophagy, insulin stops autophagy. And when we're fasting, our insulin goes low. So we really need that insulin to be low, and that's why it takes that many hours to get to that place where autophagy can begin to do its work.
And I think it depends on your nutritional status. It depends on what type of exercise program you're doing, how fit you are, age, etc., how long autophagy is going to take to kick in for you. And it is variable. So some people might have autophagy happening quite quickly in their fasts because they are more acclimatized to fasting and they do it more regularly, and other people it might take a little bit longer. The problem is that we can't really specifically test for it. So there's no blood test or tissue test or whatever to say that you are in autophagy. But one can, over the long term, see the effects on the body systems and how you look and how you feel. The more depleted your body is from a nutritional perspective, like your amino acids and your glucose and your calories, that will trigger autophagy faster. So it's because your cells need nutrients and your cells need all of those factors to function properly and optimally. They will then turn to the old depleted grumpy cells and reutilize what they can. And so it's really like a spring cleaning process. Besides fasting, there are other ways to activate autophagy. And one of them is exercise. And so during our fasting course, we also talk about how to combine exercise with your intermittent fasting kind of schedule to really boost that autophagy process. But coffee can also help with triggering autophagy. There are certain supplements that one can take, although I'm personally not a huge fan of supplementing unless it's entirely necessary. And then sometimes if you are on a long-term ketogenic diet, you will also trigger autophagy to a certain extent. But this is one of the most powerful benefits, I think, of intermittent fasting. And our goal during our fasting course is really to help you fast for a long enough period that you'll be able to trigger autophagy and see those benefits.
Yes, that's a major anti-aging benefit. We love autophagy.